Have you ever felt like you're doing nothing, even though your day is completely packed? Have you ever looked at your to-do list at the end of the day and asked yourself, am I lazy or am I just procrastinating? Well, today, we're going to clear up a massive myth, one that might be holding you back more than you realize. Laziness and procrastination are not the same thing. They are fundamentally different, and if you confuse them, it can quietly and systematically destroy your progress, your potential, and your peace of mind. It's a common trap. You have goals, you have dreams, you have a list of things you know you need to do, but day after day, they get pushed back, and that little voice in your head starts whispering, maybe you're just lazy, maybe you just don't have what it takes. But what if that voice is wrong? What if the problem isn't a lack of desire, but something else entirely? Understanding this difference is the first crucial step in our Anti-Procrastination Program, because once you can correctly diagnose the problem, you can finally start applying the right solution. So, let's dive in and separate the facts from the feelings. Let's start by defining our terms. First up, laziness. What is it, really? In its purest form, laziness is a state of apathy. It's a genuine lack of desire to exert energy or take action. A truly lazy person doesn't just avoid doing a task. They often have no interest in doing it in the first place. There's no internal conflict, no guilt, no stress about the thing that's not getting done. It's simply a state of being content with inaction. Think of someone lounging on the couch, surrounded by a messy room, just channel surfing. If you ask them, hey, aren't you going to clean up? They might just shrug and say, nah, I don't feel like it. And they mean it. There's no anxiety attached to that decision. The key takeaway here is that laziness is characterized by a lack of will, no energy, no interest, and therefore, no action. It's a passive state of being. Now, let's flip the coin and talk about procrastination. This is where things get much more complex and, frankly, much more common for ambitious people. Procrastination is not about a lack of desire. In fact, it's the complete opposite. A procrastinator desperately wants to achieve the goal. They want to complete the task. They plan it, they talk about it, they might even create elaborate schedules and to-do lists for it. They stress about it. They feel guilty for not starting it. And they know, deep down, that they should be working on it. But despite all of that intention and all of that mental energy, they keep saying, not right now. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start after this one. Last video. Procrastination is the act of actively delaying or postponing something, despite knowing there will be negative consequences for doing so. The procrastinator intends to act, but they just can't bring themselves to follow through at that moment. And this is the critical distinction. The lazy person doesn't intend to act, while the procrastinator intends, but doesn't. Procrastination is a master of disguise. It tricks you into feeling productive because you're planning or thinking about it, when in reality, you're just spinning your wheels. So, if they're so different internally, why do we confuse them all the time? The answer is simple and frustrating, because from the outside, the result looks exactly the same. Nothing gets done. Whether you're lazy and don't care, or you're a procrastinator who's paralyzed by anxiety, the final report is still unwritten, the gym is still unvisited, and the project is still at square one. The world only sees the outcome or lack thereof and often labels it as laziness. Even worse, we do this to ourselves. We see our own inaction and jump to the conclusion that we must be lazy, which only fuels a cycle of self-criticism and shame. But the real difference, the one that truly matters, is happening inside your head. The lazy person is often at peace with their inaction. Their mental state is calm. They're not losing sleep over the unfolded laundry. But the procrastinator, they are living in a state of constant, low-grade stress. Their mind is a battlefield. One side knows what needs to be done, while the other side is desperately seeking a distraction, a momentary escape from the pressure. This internal conflict creates a tremendous amount of mental exhaustion. The guilt, the anxiety, the self-blame it, all drains your energy far more than the actual task ever would. That's the cruel irony of procrastination. You spend more energy avoiding the work than it would have taken to just do it. The procrastinator lives under a cloud of guilt and mental pressure. They know they have the ability, the skill, the time, but they just don't begin. And that feeling of failing your own potential is one of the most draining experiences a person can have. This brings us to a crucial point: the hidden dangers of confusing these two states. Laziness is like a visible problem. You know it's there, you can see it, and others can see it. It's straightforward. But procrastination is invisible, and that's what makes it so deadly to your ambitions. It's a silent thief. It doesn't just steal your time, it steals your momentum. It robs you of your self-confidence. It takes your big, brilliant dreams and lets them wither on the vine, all while whispering comforting lies like, "You'll start tomorrow. You still have time." It makes you feel like you're still in the race, because you're rethinking about your goals. But in reality, you haven't even left the starting block. Think about it this way. Procrastinators are often very intelligent, capable, and creative people. They have good ideas and the skills to execute them. Their problem isn't a lack of ability, it's a lack of discipline to start. Lazy people, on the other hand, often don't even try to engage their abilities in the first place. This is precisely why procrastination is more dangerous. It hides behind good intentions. You tell yourself you're a perfectionist, that you're just waiting for the right moment, or that you work better under pressure. But these are just excuses that your brain creates to protect you from the discomfort of starting. And while you're busy perfecting your plan or waiting for inspiration to strike, the opportunity passes you by. Your potential remains locked away, and the gap between who you are and who you could be grows wider every single day. So, how do you know which one is affecting you? Let's do a quick self-diagnosis. Ask yourself this: when you delay your goals, how do you feel? If you put off a task and then spend the rest of the day feeling a nagging sense of guilt, anxiety, or regret, you are almost certainly a procrastinator, not a lazy person. If you make a detailed to-do list in the morning, full of ambition, but then find yourself on Netflix by noon, and the sight of that untouched list makes your stomach drop, that's procrastination. It's the emotional fallout that gives it away. Your negative feelings are a direct result of you breaking a promise to yourself. You intended to act, and you didn't. That conflict is the signature of the procrastinator. Now, the good news is that once you identify it as procrastination, you can start fighting back with the right tools. The goal isn't to magically become a productivity machine overnight. The goal is to break the cycle of inaction. Here are 3 practical micro-habits. You can start today. First, use the 2-minute rule. Whatever the task is, commit to doing it for just 2 minutes. Answering emails, just answer 1. Writing a report, just write 1 sentence. Cleaning your room, just put away 1 thing. Starting is the hardest part, and 2 minutes is so easy it feels ridiculous not to do it. Second, set a clear and specific time, not a vague later. Instead of saying, "I'll go to the gym later," say, "I will put on my gym clothes at 5 p.m. This removes the ambiguity and creates a concrete trigger for action. And third, become a detective of your own emotions. The next time you feel the urge to procrastinate, don't just give in. Pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Is it fear of failure? Fear of judgment? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Write it down. Acknowledging the root emotion strips it of its power. For laziness, the approach is different and often deeper, requiring a fundamental shift in your environment, your core intentions, and even your identity, a topic for another day. But for my fellow procrastinators, the battle is won in these small, initial steps. In the end, the most powerful thing you can do for yourself is to stop mislabeling your behavior. Don't call yourself lazy when you are actually afraid. Don't call it a lack of motivation when it's actually a fear of not being perfect. Understand yourself with compassion, but also with honesty. From now on, I want you to ask yourself this question daily. Whenever you find yourself avoiding a task, am I avoiding this because I am genuinely tired and need to rest? Or am I avoiding it because I'm afraid to start? That single question can bring so much clarity. It separates the need for legitimate rest from the habit of procrastination. Remember, you don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to feel inspired. You just need to start. A small, imperfect step taken today is infinitely more valuable than 1,000 perfect plans that are forever delayed for tomorrow. Start now, not perfectly, not flawlessly, but just honestly. Take one small action after this video ends. We're here to help you build that momentum, one step at a time. Thank you for joining us for week 2 of our Anti-Procrastination Program. We'll see you in the next video. And as always, remember, let's grow. Let's go. Do you want to forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you do want to miss the next step in our journey? And if this helped, please share it with someone you know who might need to hear it too. Thanks for watching.